As a parent of young kids, I'm kind of undertaking that same adventure in the same way that they are experiencing new things every day.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Life of Dad Show. Here in the Life of Dad Show, we talk with athletes, actors, entrepreneurs, CEOs, musicians, entertainers who've all made a name for themselves, but the one thing that is most important to them is being a dad. For this week's edition of the Life of Dad Show, I'm showcasing the interview I did with Andrew Barkan. Talk to Andrew about his album Go for the Moon that he does with his wife Polly, his podcast, and also, of course, fatherhood. Andrew's a great guy, very talented, and we're going to talk about not only his career, but the joys of fatherhood. So let's get into it. Here's my interview with Andrew Barkan. Enjoy. Hey everybody, Eddy here for the Life of Dad Show and online. I'm very happy to have Andrew Barkan. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me, Andrew. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Art. How you doing?
Doing really well. Can't wait to talk about fatherhood and your podcast, Ear Snacks, with you. But first, I got to say congrats on your upcoming album, Go for the Moon. You and your wife, Polly, are known for your great music. What can fans expect from this album, sir?
Oh, this is probably our most adventurous sonic endeavor to date. Go for the Moon is an album that takes kind of the small, everyday ridiculousness of being a child or being a parent, for that matter, and explodes them to epic proportions with brass sections and funk and choirs and synthesizers and lots of good times.
Excellent, man. And one of the things at Life of Dad that we know, and I consider my daughters are some of my muses when I write. Of course, here at Life of Dad, talking about fatherhood, and they inspire me. But talk a little bit about how your kids inspire you and Polly to create music, and how has fatherhood kind of influenced your creative process when making a song?
Oh, man, it's been a journey, as any father knows. We started making music for kids in about 2010, which was long before we had kids. I have a 5-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter now. It was actually just to take a break from the work that we do in the studio. Polly and I are both composers. We had kind of different businesses doing music for advertising and music for independent film, and they slowly collided to do music for children's television. As a break from the long hours in the studio, which are, as you well know, can get draining staring at a screen for 12 hours a day, we got out into the world of LA and started playing for little kids, just with my accordion and her ukulele, and doing things that really matter to humans. And there's no pressure of an advertising brief or fulfilling someone else's brand expectations. We were able to, really connect with little people. And then when I became a father, I realized that, man, it's, we can care as much as we want about the engagement on the carpet, but we're also just giving parents that little half-hour break that they need to get through the day, where someone else is kind of engaging and entertaining your kids in hopefully an enriching and educational way. But really, parenthood is a journey and takes a lot of continued effort, and any support that you can get along the way is really helpful. So I appreciate that when other people can give me that and support our family. And I'm glad that Polly and I can do that for other families, little 20, 30-minute chunks at a time. Nice, man. And were there any musicians or artists that inspired you to become an artist as well? Oh man, that's a fantastic question. Well, I grew up in the 80s, and I think more than anything else, I was inspired by movie soundtracks. John Williams and all of Star Wars and Jurassic Park and all of the epically imagined soundscapes that film composers put behind films, like, really bring those things to life. Back to the Future is definitely a favorite for me. We've done lots of different scales of music. Sometimes we do really small things with a glockenspiel and a ukulele, but on this album we tried to blow it up to epic proportions. Go for the Moon, we have all of our friends who we've worked on film music together, people, trombone players and saxophone players and trumpet players we bring into the studio to do different kinds of work in the film and advertising world. We had them play on our kids' songs, and it really gives them this epically cool vibe. We even had a saxophone player try and do a Bruce Springsteen-esque sax solo in the middle of our song Aquarium, because we needed that journey to the aquarium to feel super epic. Oh, that's fantastic. And you know what? You and I could definitely
listen to music together because when I'm working and if I'm not editing a podcast or doing something where I need to, use my ears per se, I'm always listening to like Pandora, like a John Williams soundtrack or Hans Zimmer. I mean, it's just, I grew up in the 80s as well, and there's just something about different songs, and of course it makes you think about the movie, but also it just kind of I think it kind of gets the creative juices flowing as well. So totally digging that, man. I love that answer. And
nice.
Yeah, speaking of just podcasting and editing and all that stuff, you guys have an awesome podcast called Ear Snacks, award-winning podcast, might I add, and talk about what you enjoy most from doing that show with Polly.
Oh yeah, well, as we started building our kids' music project, we'd tour around the country. We actually toured with our son when he was like 2.5. We'd take him to Florida and Atlanta and Dallas and Colorado. We're based here in California. The touring around the country made us realize, what we love best about our concerts is, of course, playing awesome music for kids, but really interacting with them, joking with them, getting their feedback on songs or their suggestions for different dance moves or different lyrics we can use, and that we wanted to capture that way of connecting with kids. And we thought, let's make a podcast. This is this medium that's exploding right now. We started our podcast back in 2015, so it's been 4 years now that Ear Snacks has been going. Thank you. But it's really exciting because the basis of Ear Snacks is getting kids to talk about small things they know in their lives, like rain or shadows or beeps, and building that out. We have parents interview their kids on their smartphones. These are parents all around the country, sometimes internationally. And they'll ask different kids around the world. We'll take a handful of kids who are asked the same questions, and then we'll splice them all together kind of in a musical montage that will be the basis for each episode. So it's a really cool way for kids to see how their ideas about the world connect with each other and differ from each other in different places. And it's really cool for parents to see how much their kids actually know and what they can say. And it's a touch of kids say the darndest things too, because you get lots of kids' voices in there.
No doubt, sir. Love it. And now, of course, we're talking a little bit about how fatherhood has influenced you creatively through music, but talk a little bit about when you found out you're going to be a dad for the first time. What was going on through your head, sir?
Oh my God. I think it's been a lifelong goal. It took a while. I'm in my late 30s now. I know some friends now who are pregnant currently, and they're getting really excited and they're thinking about it, but they have no idea what's going to hit them once you actually have your kid in the world, and then let alone going into double fatherhood, which you're familiar with. That's a whole nother ball of wax as well. So it's, this is kind of where this album in particular came from, Go for the Moon. Our previous albums had come out before our kids were born. And so, the last one we put out was in 2016. And I guess we had a young son at that point. But this one is built almost entirely of elements from our lives as parents and their lives as kids. And, so many ridiculous things happen every day for parents. And it's fun to kind of look at those with a sense of humor, but also kind of triumph them as like, this is awesome. You don't know how to sit in your chair. You know what? You need to go to chair school. Or, we're going to the aquarium today, guys. We're going to do it. We're going to make it there. Hopefully there's parking, but it's going to be magical when we get there. And sure, there's lots of school trips and a sea of backpacks, but this is life. This is the life that we decided to undertake. And I feel like as a parent of young kids, I'm kind of undertaking that same adventure in the same way that they are experiencing new things every day.
Love it, man. And talk a little bit about some of the core values you're looking to instill into your kids as they're growing up. Bravery and curiosity. I think they go hand in hand.
So much of our parenting nowadays is about helicopter parenting and protecting our kids from things. We live in a crazy, divisive world with that's changing every day. And I think that the more kids can have confidence in themselves to ask questions and enter the world and explore with support from their parents, exploring and trying new things and skinning their knees, the more they can ask questions of other people and get to know them better. And I think that's the way They can build empathy for other people, which is good for the world. And it's a way they can have more confidence in themselves and be able to achieve the things they want to achieve as they get bigger.
Nice, man. And, before we started recording and doing the podcast, we're just kind of getting to know each other a little bit in our podcast green room, so to speak, and talking about the first day of school and all that. And you were mentioning how, your oldest got into, is starting kindergarten this year. Talk a little bit about the emotions that were all happening for you and your wife when you saw your son going to kindergarten, man.
Oh, my gosh. He is so big. He just had a massive haircut. He basically didn't cut his hair between the ages of 2 and 5. So he had this crazy golden Southern Californian mop of hair that was, curling out everywhere. This young Jufro, if I can say that. But now he just decided that he wanted to get it cut. He just started taking soccer lessons this summer, and it's like this short, almost, as short as mine hair. And it makes him look so big. You see how big his body is. And, he went to an amazing preschool that really kind of fostered his independence and his ability to deal with problems that he has every day and with other kids and to negotiate things with other people. That was the main focus of the preschool, and I'm hoping that he can bring that to this public kindergarten that he's going to. It's going to be a new journey, but so far 3 days in, so far so good.
Awesome. Great to hear that. And last question before we get into the Life of Dad Quick 5. What is one big piece of advice you'd offer to new dads listening to this?
Be patient. If you can do anything, as everything seems like the biggest deal because it's the first, or you don't know how to handle it, or you think there's some expectations on you from other people or your spouse or most likely yourself that you want to be, you want to be an amazing dad. You want to be good at this, but there's no manual. Nobody can tell you how to do it. There's no way to figure it out until you do it yourself. And everyone knows this. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, but I've recently, especially having 2 kids, and our younger daughter she's 2 now. So she's definitely entering that exciting 2-year-old, terrible 2 phase. But my job is to, before I take care of anything, before I help anybody, is to be patient. And then I know that any help that I do give will come back to me tenfold. And the level of calm that I can try to instill in our insane lives will just allow us to get through that. And it'll make me feel better about it as I go through.
Great piece of advice right there. I'm still working on my patience level as well, so it's a work in progress.
We all are.
No doubt.
Of course.
Now we got the Life of Dad Quick 5. Favorite family movie in the Barkan household is what?
Ooh, currently, we watch a lot of My Neighbor Totoro. Are you familiar with this movie?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Nice.
This is from the early 90s. If you can't stream it, which is the problem, but I would highly recommend investing the $15 it costs to order it on Amazon to get the physical DVD, if you still have a physical DVD player. It is the most calming, magical thing to watch. You can and we're a very pro movie family because I do watch we watch some TV with our kids and stream some stuff and do some on Apple TV, but in my experience, like those short bursts of shows kind of make them feel endless, like they're like kids always want more. It's almost like a dessert, like giving them a small piece of something you don't even know how much you've eaten and time doesn't seem like it's passed.
Yeah.
But watching a good movie like Totoro, it feels like it has a beginning and a middle and an end, and they feel satisfied when it's done. And it gives you that nice 90 minutes on a weekend where you can breathe in an evening. Yeah. Anyway, we really like Totoro.
Nice, man. 100% agree. Yeah, you got that time. Like when you kind of binge watch shows or if they start watching something, which is fine, but you have that, you're like, can I watch another one?
Sure.
Like a movie is like finite. Like we watched one movie. So no, you're good.
It's done. Exactly.
This also is probably hits close to home for you guys. Favorite family song, or is there a band you couldn't wait to introduce your kids to?
Oh man, this is tricky. Probably right now we've been hitting a lot of Beatles. We saved that for a while. They didn't really know much Beatles, and I hope that's not too cliche to say. But my 2-year-old daughter sings "Baby, You're a Rich Man," and it's the most beautiful thing to hear her singing that. So we have dance parties as much as we want, and we listen to lots of electronica and rock and different stuff as well in our house. But yeah, I love a good Beatles. It's up tempo without being too insane.
Raising them right, sir. Awesome. And describe the perfect family vacation. Where would it be?
Oh my God. We're thinking about trying to do something like Mexico or Hawaii, where everything is taken care of for us.
Yeah.
Club Med type situation. We haven't done that yet. It's a little bit too far of a journey. But we did just go to my father-in-law's place where he grew up on Vashon Island. It's this rustic island outside of Seattle. And we stayed in this it's like the lighthouse keeper's house, like down the street from the lighthouse.
Yeah.
On this rocky beach. Very old-timey house, didn't have many amenities, but just letting the kids walk out the door and straight onto a rocky beach with driftwood, where they can build with driftwood and throw rocks into the water. Like, I barely had to supervise them, and they were having the time of their lives. So I guess for us, we're in Southern California, where it's sunny and hot all the time. I don't mind a little bit of mist and coldness. I like a good rustic, muddy vacation.
Awesome, man. That's fantastic. What was the first album that you purchased?
To be honest, I'm going to say it was a cassette tape in 6th grade. It was like Best of Weird Al.
Nice.
which is a callback. He's still doing work, man. This guy is still rocking some amazing concerts out here in LA and around the country. We got to write a song with one of his pals and co-writers, Mike Furman, who is this amazing comic genius who has done stuff on Comedy Central, but he's moving into the kids' music space. And we co-wrote a song called Mom's Name with him, which is sort of Weird Al-esque. It's not covering anybody else's song, but it's as though Bohemian Rhapsody met a preschool drop-off, where you really think you're supposed to know that one mom's name, and you say, "Hey, Izzy's mom, how are you today?" And we realize how many grown-ups' names who we interact with constantly as parents of young kids, whose names we do not know at all, and the kind of the epic rock ballad built from there.
It's fantastic. Yeah, that's so true. The name game is, because there's different schools. Like if you send out the birthday invites, and I think you're gonna experience this. If you don't send it to the whole class, you can't have your kid bring an invite for everyone. So when it would be pick up or the drop off, I'm like, oh man, what's your name? Like Izzy's mom. Like, hey, here's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, you're so bad. Like, and you're asking your child, like, whose parent is this? Is that someone-so? And they're like, I don't know. It's like for some reason, you expect them to know all their friends' parents. So well said on that. And lastly, what are the top 3 words you hope your kids will use to describe you as a father?
Whoa, that is a deep question. All right, hold on. Top 3 words. I would like number 1 to be goofball. That's a good number 1. Number 2 would be kind. And number 3 would be full of love, because that's all we want for our kids. It's hard. It's epic trying to balance work and life. And I work with my spouse, which is a whole nother ball of wax. But we try and bring that sense of calm and that sense of love whenever we can. We're lucky enough to be able to make music that our kids like, and we hope other people can like them too.
I think a lot of people enjoy your music. People, make sure you follow Andrew on Twitter over at Andrew Y, the letter Y, Polly, and go to earsnacks.org to check out all of Andrew and Polly's work. And also make sure you pick up Go for the Moon, their latest album. And also when you go to earsnacks.org, you can check out all the different great works that they do as well. And check out their podcast. Such a great time, man, chatting with you. Really enjoyed your take on fatherhood. And I wish you and Polly and your family continued success in the future.
Thanks so much, Art. I really appreciate being here.
My pleasure, man. And I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks so much for listening to the Life of Dad Show. You know where to find us, lifeofdad.com, and on Twitter and Facebook.